The second thing is, Scott, you are so concerned about that, but you have not expressed any concern over Trump's repeated demeaning of all kinds of other women who are just simply doing their jobs.
A Georgia senator's one-line attack on Donald Trump just exploded into a much bigger controversy after he accused the president of being more interested in traveling with a personal aide than doing the job. The remark went viral, and suddenly the aide became the center of a national political debate. Now a CNN panel is arguing over whether that criticism crossed a line or exposed a real issue about public accountability. And watch what happens when one conservative panelist defends the aide and gets hit with one simple question he struggles to answer. Welcome back to Charles on Point. I'm Charles, and today we're breaking down that heated CNN exchange, why the senator's comment triggered such a strong reaction, and whether senior White House officials should be considered fair game for public criticism. I'll hold my thoughts until the end. Drop a comment and tell me where you're watching from. Let's get into it.
To criticize Donald Trump, what I thought was appalling about this is that Harp is not a public figure. She's not a household name. Nobody knows who she is. And when he injected her into this, he knew what he was doing, which is punching down on someone who's effectively defenseless.
Doesn't Donald Trump do that all the time?
All the time.
I mean, what do you mean? He's doing it right now while we're here.
Guys, there's no rules anymore. Donald Trump broke all of those.
Are you defending
Rob Reiner dies. Donald Trump cheers his death. There are no rules anymore.
Robert Mueller dies. Okay. He defends his death.
Hold on. There are no rules anymore. You might not like it. Donald Trump is the king of trolls. What I find amazing is that the best trolls can't take incoming. I don't care who they are.
Is she a troll?
But they can't. No, but Trump is. Okay,
I know, but he didn't insult Trump. He insulted a female who can't defend herself.
She's a White House staff.
She's not a troll.
She's a White House staff
member. The right
member.
cannot take any incoming.
Here's the deal. It's not the right, and it's not Trump. It's a single defenseless woman.
She's not defenseless.
What about Richard Freeman and Shane Moss?
Caitlin Collins asks a real question, and Trump demeans her every single solitary day.
Let me go ahead and just play it, because there's just such a long history of this. Trump punching down, insulting women. Let's just play it.
Scott, never complaining about it.
You've called women you don't like fat pigs, dogs, slobs, and disgusting animals. Your Twitter account...
Only Rosie O'Donnell.
But what we want to do is to replenish the Social Security Trust Fund.
You are the worst reporter. No wonder CNN has no ratings because of people like you. You know, she's a young woman. I don't think I've ever seen you smile. I've known you for 10 years. I don't think I've ever seen a smile on your face.
I'm asking you about survivors of Jeffrey Epstein.
You know what?
Is there something incriminating in the file,
Quiet. Unbelievable.
Quiet, piggy. I mean, Scott.
Excuse me, sorry.
Dan's question was pretty straightforward. If you're going to be outraged over traveling on a plane with Natalie, are you going to be outraged over all those things?
I do not believe in demeaning women in any way, number one. Number two.
So
did
the president demean women, and was that unacceptable?
The issue I have with this is...
Are you outraged or not about that?
The issue I have with this is...
Not answering the question.
Natalie Harp
not answering the question.
Is not a public figure.
Nor is Ruby Freeman or Shane Moss.
She has no ability
to be honest.
You are not answering the question. You are avoiding the question again, Scott Jennings. You continuously distract and avoid.
By the way, at home, you have no idea how loud this is.
But Scott, listen.
You have no idea how dishonest you are.
It has nothing to do with Natalie. She is being a defenseless.
If you want to defend her to the mic, go ahead, but I'm not going to do it.
Just to be clear, hold on a second.
What do you think, Lydia?
Hold on a second.
You're a Republican or conservative woman?
Just to be clear.
What do you think? You were asked a question.
Hold on a second, Keith. Just to be clear, I think the idea of continually describing a 35-year-old woman as somebody who has no agency and is defenseless and is just a victim, that is kind of demeaning to begin with. But the second thing is, Scott, you are so concerned about that, but you have not expressed any concern over Trump's repeated demeaning of all kinds of other women who are just simply doing their jobs.
Including our host. He attacked our host here.
I'm disappointed you don't remember this, but during the president's first term, you actually got into it with him on the South Lawn, and we did a show together, and I said, I don't think that's good.
Okay,
he shouldn't talk to you that way.
Because you have
and
to
you don't remember.
But
the bottom line is, the fact that you won't defend Harp here is
what about all these different examples? You are so good at turning the subject away from the reality of what she just said, Scott.
It's now even more decibels than it was.
I know you're playing to your audience here, but Scott, you're still avoiding the subject.
Personal space?
Hold on.
Yeah,
Scott, you easily could have said, in this very same way that I denounce what John Ossoff said, I also denounce all the things that Donald Trump has said. You didn't say that tonight,
I
even
literally
when
just
you
said,
were asked.
I don't believe in demeaning women. I will just say
that you are not holding him to the same standard that you hold John Ossoff. You have a lot to say about John Ossoff and very little to say about Donald Trump.
Because he drug a defenseless
of women.
What about
government servant through the mud, and he deserves it.
The president of the United States does that on a regular basis to women.
So she deserves government workers, and Donald Trump attacked them. What did you say about that,
Does she deserve it?
What did you say about that, Scott?
Okay, nobody is saying that, first of all, that she deserves anything.
You seem to be defending.
But the only thing that we are saying is that if you're going to be mad at John Ossoff over saying the president likes to travel with her, you should be mad about the president calling a reporter doing her job piggy.
Be consistent, Scott.
That's a pretty simple thing. Not controversial. It's pretty simple.
Scott.
We gotta.
It's what it takes to be a Democrat. Drag defenseless women through the mud.
You're not the victim here, Scott.
Drag defenseless women through the mud.
You are not the victim here. You are the perpetrator of Donald Trump's fraud on the American people. So
all right, I don't know. I don't know why we have to insist on
defend him every time.
I don't know why we have to insist on describing Natalie again, a 35-year-old woman. She's a government employee as a defenseless.
She has no microphone.
Woman.
Nor did Ruby Freeman or Shane Moss.
She, like everybody else,
doesn't she run
is doing their job. She doesn't deserve.
That's
to
a
be
pretty
attacked.
big microphone.
If I got a list, Jared, of every female who worked in your office and read their first names and said, gee whiz, Jared, why are you spending so much time with that lady? You'd be pissed right now.
Scott, let me hold on.
You'd be pissed.
Hold on. Do I think what happened with the Natalie thing, is that how we should talk? No, I don't think that's how politics should be. But what you should understand is we talk like that now because of Trump.
Donald Trump. Thank you. Case closed. End of story.
Do you disagree with that?
Look.
No. And the American people know it.
I believe you shouldn't demean women, and I don't think defenseless women in politics should be drugged through the mud.
Unless Donald Trump does it. Be consistent, Scott Jennings. The American people see your inconsistency.
All right. Listen, I mean, President Trump, I think...
Not a negative word for Ossoff. What do you think?
Well, why are you trying to change the subject?
Listen, I'm curious.
Why are you not criticize Donald Trump?
Honestly, Scott, I think that if your position is that he was making an innuendo, I don't think it's good to make innuendo. But I also think it is worse to actually use insults to call women stupid, to call them piggy, to say that they are fat, whatever it is. Those things, actual, straight up, direct insults at professional women doing their jobs, I think most people think that's actually worse.
I think it's, look, I said I don't believe in demeaning women. I don't know what your problem is. Didn't you work for Bill Clinton? I mean, my God, we know how Democrats treat women in the workplace.
And do I defend Bill Clinton?
Honestly.
I have not defended him. You sit up. Scott Jennings is the master of deflection of the American people. He changed the subject here from Donald Trump to Bill Clinton because he doesn't want to talk about Donald Trump. He doesn't want to.
It was pretty bad.
He doesn't want to criticize his boss, Donald Trump.
It's how Democrats think of women in politics.
He's so good
Ossoff,
at changing the subject.
How they women in politics.
But he will not criticize
his
they're only there for one reason.
Good friend, Donald Trump.
John Ossoff has really done a great job of getting a lot of attention this week and stirring things up at the White House. And that's one of the, well, look, I mean, in Donald Trump's world, in Donald Trump's world, it kind of is a little bit of a
Axe is right.
Well, then he's right about Donald Trump then, too.
All right.
Axe is right.
And this is where the debate ultimately comes down to one question. Would you apply the same standard if the political teams were reversed? Scott Jennings' analogy is worth considering. A president routinely travels with aides, advisors, doctors, and other staff members, so simply pointing out that a president spends significant time with an aide does not, by itself, establish anything improper. That's an important distinction, because criticism becomes much weaker when an ordinary professional relationship is presented as evidence of something more sinister without supporting evidence. But then comes the pivot. Instead of staying focused on the original comment and whether it was fair, the conversation moves toward a former president from decades ago. And that's where the criticism of deflection becomes relevant. Bringing up something another politician allegedly did doesn't answer whether the original comment was appropriate. It changes the subject. That's essentially the problem with whataboutism. Sometimes comparisons are legitimate, especially when we're testing whether someone is applying a consistent standard. But if the comparison is being used simply to avoid answering the question in front of you, then the debate has moved away from accountability and toward distraction. And here's the bigger lesson. Political consistency matters. If a behavior is unacceptable when your opponents do it, but suddenly harmless when your own side does it, voters are justified in questioning whether the principle is genuine or partisan. At the same time, we shouldn't confuse a weak argument with proof that someone is deliberately dishonest. A politician or commentator can deflect because they disagree with the premise, because they think another issue is more important, or simply because they don't have a strong answer. The only way to know is to examine what they actually say and whether they address the evidence. That's why this exchange is worth watching. The strongest political debates aren't won by who talks the loudest. They're won when people answer the question, defend their position with evidence, and apply the same standard consistently. So I leave this one with you. When political commentators defend one side but condemn the same behavior from the other, is that hypocrisy, normal partisan politics, or both? Let me know what you think in the comments. If you enjoyed the breakdown, like the video, subscribe to Charles on Point, and I'll see you in the next one.